What's up? What's up? What is going on, everybody? We are here and we are back for episode 2 of the Smart Wealth Solutions with A and R. I said we are back for episode 2. It is I, Rashon Davis, and me and my co-host, my brethren, my brother from another muster. You hear me? Another mother, Mr. Angel. What's good, brother, man?
D-Malo.
Oh, yeah. Let's go.
What's up, bro?
What's going on? How are you, brother, man? What is up
Good.
today? How's everything rolling out?
Wonderful. Man, we're trying to keep it fun. We're trying to keep it exciting so people can, have a little fun, laugh, and get some good information at the same time.
Absolutely, man. As we all know, we are all in the money game. And listen, before y'all get into anything, listen, hit the like button and support the show. I will say this, though. I did not put out the disclaimer, but we are going to protect ourselves at all costs. So I will say we are not giving out. This is strictly for educational purposes. So education and entertainment. So you call it edutainment purposes. So we are not giving out financial advice. We are not doing that. All we are doing is giving you some things that we did, some scenarios that maybe we have done. We're going to be very transparent, but hit the like button anyway and support the show and enjoy the ride. So, what's up, bro?
Chilling, brother. I'm doing well.
How the hell are you?
I'm good. What are we diving into
today, man? Oh, my man getting right to it. All right.
Yeah, that's right, man.
So let's not play no games. Okay, let's go then.
We'll get into it.
All right. So, average cup of coffee. Average cup of coffee costs about $5 at Starbucks. Costs about $3.50 at Dunkin'. And what do you want to talk about in regards to average cup of coffee, my good sir?
I think we're going to talk about how people, they every single day we kind of like bleed money out and don't really see where it goes. My wonderful wife used to be addicted to Dunkin'. And once again, let's just go on the low end, $3 a day, right? Let's say you do that just 5 days a week. At the end of the month, that's $60. Again, that's a bill. That's something that could go towards something. The second thing is a breakfast sandwich in New York City. Average breakfast sandwich about $5. Nice cup.
Thank you, man. Listen, my throat is killing me, so I need to sleep. All right.
Go ahead. Got you. So $5 a day. That's just on a 5-day work week. It's $100 a month, and most people don't even realize that. Even myself thinking about it and writing it down, it's kind of scary because $100 a month is a lot of money. Now you add that with the coffee, that's $160 a month. And that's being conservative. So, when people say they can't do something or they can't figure things out, I think they got to understand, the little things, right? Because little bit of money could work against you because a little bit of money compounded in the wrong things over time becomes a lot of money. So, we're just talking about coffee and a breakfast sandwich. Some people have that and then lunch in the city as well. So you're looking at a possible $25 day, $30 day, times 5, right?
Yeah,
that's $150 a week,
and then that's $600 a month.
Exactly, that's a car payment.
Shoot, I mean, listen, I didn't realize how much money you spend. And listen, we live in New York, right? So here's the thing with New York. Just add 20% times whatever we just said. I know people who spend $50 on lunch every day. $50. I remember back in the day when I was maybe 21, 22 or so, and it would be like $2.50 for a bacon, egg, and cheese. Due to inflation, baby, now it's $5. $4.95. It used to be $2, $1.75 in certain stores when we were in high school. Now look, I mean, everything. Pizza used to be $1.25. Good luck finding $1.25 pizza in New York City. Anything under $3 right now, you'd be lucky.
Doesn't exist.
I know people who spend that. Like I said, I know people who used to spend $30, $40, $50 a day on lunch in the city when I worked in the city. So It is absolutely crazy. And you know what's crazy? People will not give up that coffee. They won't do it. They won't do it. They will not give up coffee. They will not go. People don't want to go without. So you break the numbers down and they still don't care. It just doesn't matter.
Yes, sir. So I want to tie this into what I just said, right? About the money that's being spent every day, right? Again, what you don't track, you lose sight of, no matter what it is. What you don't track, you lose sight of, right? So that's where a financial game plan comes in, because, you know, again, I'm stealing this from giving full credit to Dave Ramsey when he talks about you attack your bills, the smallest one at a time. Because a lot of people, right, they always say we got to pay these bills, and then they spend every month like spreading that money thin, right? And there isn't enough money to go around. So you're kind of just doing the minimum on everything. And that's kind of like running in place. It's the hamster wheel. So no matter what, you got to put something into play. And I think that's, you know, super important. And you start by, again, I said that financial game plan has to start with writing everything down. Not enough people.
Can I push back on that real quick?
Go ahead.
Would you say to start from the lowest to highest, or start from the highest to lowest?
No, you start from the lowest to highest. Absolutely.
Why?
Because the lowest amount has the least amount of interest.
Nah, not necessarily. I mean,
most credit card companies work like that. Listen, when you use a credit card, you're borrowing money, right? They're fronting you the money on a card with an interest rate. So the bigger the amount, the higher the payment's going to be.
That most likely is true. Yeah.
So you got to attack the smallest, you know, you got that small one that's, you know, 800, 900, 500. You attack that first.
I say that because, just to push back, I'm not saying I disagree with you. I'm just saying I've heard people say, listen, you attack that biggest one, maybe that $1,000, that $2,000, because then, I mean, yeah, you get the little sense of confidence from the 2, 3, 4, 5, 600. But if you get rid of that $2,000 first, now you really got a sense of confidence because you knocked one out. It might take you 6 months, 8 months, but now the confidence is through the roof. And then obviously you add what you were paying to that to the next slowest one. So, I mean, you could do it in reverse, but most people, I don't know if they have the discipline to do that.
Yeah, I don't. And again, listen, I'm a huge Dave Ramsey fan. He says that was his, you know, he says attack the smallest bill, kill it, take it out, choke it out, and then move on to the next one. You know, so all right. Listen, if I was gonna go fight somebody, I'm gonna pick the smallest guy first. You know, I'm not gonna pick the biggest guy. So that's the way I look at it. Listen, got to get that. Also,
some people say you got to knock the biggest guy out first.
You good. If you got a quick win, it's gonna make you feel good. You win fast, right? You take that bill out and then you move on.
I agree.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Let's talk about the financial game plan.
Yes, sir. So now, do you want to go into let's go into this again. I learned this recently, and I love to learn new things. So 50-30-20 rule.
Okay, let's go into the 50-30-20. All right. What is the 50-30-20 rule?
Tell them.
So the 50-30-20.
50-30-20, man.
All right.
It's not just numbers on the screen.
No,
right?
It's not
50%, right? 50% needs, 30% wants, 20% financial goals.
Most people are at 80% wants, 10% needs, 1% financial goal, and 9% miscellaneous.
Yeah, 1% miscellaneous.
Miscellaneous. I don't know.
Like, subscribe, and share. That's the miscellaneous.
Listen, so at the end of the day, there has to be some structure to this. You can't. People didn't get into debt and didn't have money problems all fast. It was a gradual, slow process. So you're not going to get out of debt fast. It's going to be a gradual, slow process. But the structure and the foundation should be at least 50, 30, and 20, at least 20 for your financial goals. And if you're young and you're still living with your parents, then honestly, that 80 maybe 70, 75%, that money should be working for you. I mean, what you got? Your phone bill. Hopefully you don't have any student loans, I pray. But if you do, you may have a student loan. Maybe you have to pay your car insurance if your parents got you a car or you saved up enough for a hoopty. Most of us don't have luxury cars when we're out of college or out of high school. So that 70 should be in the market working for you. You should be saving it, something. But I don't think most people follow that plan. I most certainly didn't follow that plan. So, but yeah, 50% got to be your needs for sure. But the younger you are and the faster you start, the better it is and the better off you'll be.
I completely agree with that for sure, brother. Yeah, so let's dive into. I think people that have that, I think it's a blessing, right? If people still live at home and you're in a certain age group, that works well, and definitely should be multiplying your money. Should definitely have a great game plan in place because you have that leeway to do that stuff. But the average person doesn't have that, and we're talking to the average person. The average person is living paycheck to paycheck, just keeping their head above water. So that's why we started this, to provide some sort of just a little bit of guidance, right? Because, we all need it, including myself included. And so the 50-30-20, right? 50% is needs, right? Those are the things you cannot live without. That is your rent. That is your groceries, right? You got to eat. You got to have a roof over your head. And your house got to have light, water, and all that stuff, right? The utilities. You can't just be in the house with no light, and, no electricity, no water, no heat. You need all those things, right? So those are the necessities. And again, very super important things to take care of. And I think most people, for the most part, that's what they focus on. And then we'll go into the wants, right? That's gym membership, right? That's an option. That's not a necessity, right? Subscriptions, right? You don't need Netflix, Hulu, Paramount.
No.
Another one. Amazon Prime, right? All these things, right? Subscriptions, everything. We live in a subscription society, right? Everything is a monthly. Everything is a monthly payment, whether you want it to be or not. And then obviously the last thing is, cash, savings, right? You got to have an emergency fund. And again, people don't understand a real emergency fund. And again, I got this from reading some books. It's 6 months of your salary. That's a true emergency fund, because if you can't work for 6 months, what are you going to do? Right? If you get disabled, whatever it is. And I don't know if people understand, workers' comp and all of that stuff is cool for a little while, but it's not going to survive you for 6 months of actual money that you're making now every single day while you're going to work. So that's a true, emergency fund. It's 6 months of your current income. So what do you think about that? What do you think about the 50% part? The needs.
Well, I would say this: if you're, like I said, if you're younger, I would say start this earlier, build up the financial foundation, build up the good habits. But if you're an adult and you're out on your own, yes, fit your needs need to come first. Bare minimum, you need to know. I would say you got to budget it. Write it down. Write it out. Write out all your bills, because what you don't track won't get measured. So you won't know anything. I know I'm trying out here. So you won't know anything unless you actually sit down, write it out, and track it. You will be surprised to know how many people do not sit down and write out all their bills, just one after the other: rent, phone bill, car insurance, Netflix, Hulu, all the way down to the smallest, from the largest all the way down to the smallest. And then you tally all of that up, you find out what you need to live. Now, once you do that, then I would say you find out, what do you need? Do you need Netflix? No. Like you said, do you need the gym? Maybe. I mean, do you need it? No. You know what I'm saying? It's a good to have. It's a nice to have. Do you need Spotify? Do you need Hulu Plus? Most people are paying over $100 a month in just subscriptions. So it's like you were paying $100, $200, $150 for cable, and you just moved it over to subscriptions. The same thing. 10 years ago, it was cable. 10 years later, it's subscriptions. Same thing. but you need to write it down first. Once you write it, and most people, honestly, they scared because they write it out and it's like, whoa, I did not realize.
That's why that auto pay be hurting, right?
I did not realize I'm like, I make $2,000 a month and I got $1,800 that I'm paying, and then I'm wondering why I'm always behind or why I'm using my credit card. Because people don't write it out. People don't even write out, okay, I get paid $2,000 a check, $3,000 a check, all of that. They don't write it out. How would they know? So you gotta write it out first. Then after you write it out, then you find out what you need, especially if you're underwater. If you're underwater, start cutting stuff what you don't need. Then, but if you're good and you have a nice little income and everything is good, 30%. What do you want? The gym, Spotify, Hulu, all that, as long as it fits within the parameters of how much you have. Now, you don't spend all you can spend until it's gone. A lot of people make that mistake too. Oh, I make $2,000 a check, so I'm going to put $2,000. I'm going to spend all $2,000 on subscriptions and bills and all of that. No, then you check the check and you're broke. You need something extra at the end. And honestly, you saying 3 to 6 months emergency fund, that's what I would say too. That's bare minimum. You need 12 to 18 months. I've been hurt on the job. You've been hurt on the job. Where obviously we ain't going to say where we work, but what I'll say is I've been hurt on the job. And let me tell you, after about 90 days, workers' comp start playing with you. And they're like, hey, I'm about ready for you to get back to work. And if you can't fight it or you don't have whatever you need to lawyers or whatever got to get involved, then they might make you go back. You might have to go back, or they'll just cut they'll cut your money in half. They'll cut it completely. And then now what? Now what you're going to do? Because you have residual bills. They're going to keep coming whether you hurt, happy, sad. It don't matter. They're going to keep coming. So you're going to have to figure that out. So I say 12 to 18 months at least. But Andrew, I want to push back and I want your feedback on this. I don't think most people problem is that they can't structure their bills. I think most people have an income problem. More income would solve most people's problems.
Yeah, I think that I would definitely we're gonna definitely go dive into that, next episodes, because we'll
save it. All right, so we'll save it.
I'll definitely we'll be here all night. I just think that
I feel
for the most part, people don't really look at. I don't know. Sometimes it's ugly. Looking at your financial situation is difficult. Some people find it difficult, and it's it's hard for them. Here we got a question. How would you suggest cutting costs and saving more effectively? By Sherry Rodriguez. That's a good question. How will you suggest cutting costs? Whatever is not a need, that's where you start. Whatever is in a need, no matter what, even if again, people say it's great going to the gym, mental health, whatever, and I'm not saying that stuff isn't real, but you got to start somewhere. You got to cut somewhere where it doesn't need to be there. And that's where I would start. Do you really need to have a coffee every day? I know it seems simple. People have habits, they love, what they want. They want what they want. And unfortunately, when you're trying to get yourself back on track, you can't have everything. You got to make some sacrifices. You got to cut the entertainment, right? You can't have every subscription out there. You can't watch every episode of, Cobra Kai. You can't, unfortunately, I'm sorry, it hurts, but, you can't have every subscription. Again, you got to find somewhere where you feel that something is being wasted and you got to start there. And I think that's what's going to help you, move forward. Again, like you said before, writing everything down. I think that's critical. That's key. Write down everything. Write down every bill. Write down every single amount, every dollar that you bring in every month. You got to know where it's coming from and where it's going. And that's where you start.
Absolutely. How to cut costs effectively. Everything he said. Write it down first. If you don't write it down, I know there's a mental health component and everybody's going to want to talk about mental health. And I understand that. But at the end of the day, we got to be real with each other. We cannot sit here and BS each other. We can't do none of that. You got to write it down. If you don't write it down, and put your head under the ground like you're an ostrich, you will never understand or get to where you need to get to. You will never hit your financial goals. Everything is hard. Everything is tough. you got in this situation. You can get yourself out, but it's going to take time. It's not going to be popcorn. It ain't going to happen overnight. You got to figure that out. It takes time, but you got to write it down, write it out, and you got to let go of some things. Newsflash, you got to let go of some things. You got to sacrifice Spotify for a couple months. You got to sacrifice, because if you add up Spotify, Hulu, YouTube, Disney, ESPN, Paramount, and if you add them all up, that's $100 and something that could go in savings. That's $100 and something that could help you pay down debt. And yeah, you might have to. Nobody wants to talk about this, but you might have to work some extra. You might have to do some extra stuff, and we're not going to get into it. We'll save that one because we like Angel said, we'll be here for 2 hours talking about that. So we're going to leave that there. But you're going to have to give up some stuff to get some stuff. Everybody wants something for nothing. That ain't the way the world works. It don't work like that. You got to give some stuff up. We all been there. You think I don't like Netflix? You think I don't like this subscription and that subscription? I do. But sometimes you got to cut that stuff. It ain't the season for that. Everything goes through seasons. Every season has its place. And this might be the season where you need to not go out and eat with your friends. You might need to tell them, I'll check you next week. I'll check you next month. I might need to check you next year. If it ain't about money, then I can't. If it ain't about getting more money in my pocket so I can help pay this stuff down, I can't do it. I'm sorry. Sometimes that's the season you're in. You know how you got to this place? Let me tell you.
You triggered my trap card.
Because you was going out every week and spending money you didn't have. That's how you got in the place. That's how you got into the place you at. That's how you got there.
Brother Sean preach.
That's how you got there. How you gonna get out? You gotta stop. The first thing you do when you're in a hole is you stop digging. I heard that a long time ago. That's the first thing you do is stop digging, and then you work your way up little by little.
Absolutely,
I know. You gotta tell the truth.
I think we should close with this. Money is an ego conversation.
Oh, talk to him.
Yeah, money's an ego conversation. You know, everyone wants to, pretend that they have a lot of it, pretend that everything's great when it really isn't. And until you accept those things, that things aren't really great and things are a little bit difficult, you're not going to be willing to make any kind of changes, And I think that's where we need to start. You got to put the ego to the side. That's how you get to the place that you said. When you start making sacrifices, when you understand you're going to have to tell some people no to the barbecue, no to the baby shower, no to the wedding. You can't always be the person that's there for everybody. How are you going to be there for yourself?
1,000 people, 50% of people, what's the stat? I think it's 40 or 50%. You could Google it, fact check me. 50% of people don't have $1,000 for savings. If an emergency happened, you needed 4 tires, which might be $1,000. You don't have it.
I think it's more than that. I mean, that might be.
It might be 40 to 60, something like that. Yeah, but they don't have $1,000 in savings. But everybody's good. I'm good. I'm all right.
Numbers
if I
don't
talk to somebody and they say they maintaining, yikes.
Numbers don't lie.
You should not be maintaining. And we, like you said, we'll save some stuff because, like I said, we could go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, for sure. We're kind of just trickling information to open up people to understanding what the purpose of us, bringing this forward. We're definitely gonna, in the future, we're definitely gonna, dive into stuff in more detail and talk about saving and investing, talking about interest rate, right? How you make that work in your favor. We're going to go into all of that stuff. And I think, budgeting, again, emergency fund, again, all in more detail. But again, just trying to keep it fun, just trying to keep it, easy for people to understand. And for the average, I think everything should be as simple as possible. And that's how we're trying to explain it. And that's why we're doing it this way.
Absolutely. So that's all we got for today. We get in, we get out, quick hits, but next week we will return and we will have more, and the episode will be up as of right now on the Instagram and the Facebook. The clips will be out, so look out for that. And don't hesitate to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. All right. We have a question before we get out of there. Have either of you successfully implemented a financial game plan? I will start. Yes, I have. I was straight out of college. They got me with the, hey, you want some free money?
You triggered my trap card.
And I most certainly fell for the trap, and I got into a hell of a lot of debt. And I went to people, and I was like,
Stop it. Get some help.
I went to go get some help, and nobody went to help me, and I had to figure it out. And I climbed my way out the first time, and I was so great. I was so smart. I did it again.
Bruh.
And thank God for my lovely wife who actually helped me and sat me down. Mind you, I was doing this and I was traveling the world. I was going on vacations and I was in hella debt. I had student loans, I had all that stuff. My wife sat down one day. I came into the living room. I'll never forget. I'll tell the story. We got a couple minutes. So I came into the living room and I was like, yeah, we got another vacation coming up. This is great. My wife was writing some stuff down. She said, sit down. And then I was like, you know, who you talking to like that? We could go. Like, you want to? And then she was like, I ain't playing, sit down. So I was like, okay, let me sit down. She's like, we ain't going on no vacations. Write your debt down, all of it. I was like, how dare you talk to me this way? I was just like, you can't talk to me like this. You know, but at the end of the day, she was right. She was like, listen, we can't go on no more vacations. We got too much debt. We got all this stuff going on, and we're not going on no vacations. And with the grace of God and my wife's help and discipline, I got out of student loan debt. I got out of credit card debt, and I climbed my way out. And so did she. So I'm grateful for her for like, yo, bro, we're not doing this. We can't continue to live this way. So I have definitely implemented a financial game plan. What about you, my good sir?
Well, absolutely. The past, few years, again, me and my wife have been, again, having an incredible game plan. And again, this is something we're going to deep dive into later on. But, we're going to talk about that, protecting income, understanding what a real financial game plan is supposed to look like. We have an idea about what we grew up with, right? Those ideas, we spoke about that in the first episode. The habits that we learned growing up, we learned from our parents. But, moving forward, yes, I do have a game plan in place. It does involve investing. It does involve income protection, all of the things that are necessary, to truly get yourself out of debt and understand that if you don't get the right information from the right places, you could really hurt yourself. And that's what we're going to talk about next time.
All right. So with that being said, we are out. Everybody be safe out here. Enjoy. We ain't got no balloons this time.
Nah, man. I don't know. Thumbs up. Whatever it does.
Oh, man. No balloons. All right. Y'all don't get no balloons. All right. We out of here. See y'all next week. There you go.
Later, bro.